Hi guys, how are you doing? This is Sebastian from techcentury and welcome to a very special new video for me. Now, for those of you who are only interested in the unboxing part of this video, I'll leave a timestamp in the first line of the description so that you can jump ahead, because first off I want to talk about my background story when it comes to purchasing this new MacBook. And it basically all started on the 9th of September 2013. And this was the day that I purchased my first Retina MacBook Pro, and this was a 13-inch late 2012 Retina MacBook Pro that was still originally sealed. I bought it from a private seller for I think like 1,100 euros. It was the standard configuration with a Core i5, a dual-core processor, but it also had 8 gigs of RAM, while most of the Retina MacBook Pros only had 4 gigs. So this was very important for me just for multitasking and also for a little bit of video editing. Now before that I had a variety of MacBook Airs, but I have to say ever since picking up this 13-inch MacBook Pro back in September of 2013, I absolutely fell in love with this machine. It was an absolutely amazing laptop, and the display basically flashed me every time that I used it, and I never really had this experience with any other piece of technology, and it was just a great machine, never had any issues with it. And I even used it as my main driver for my main setup while I sold the iMac. So for a few weeks I was only editing all my videos on this Core i5 MacBook Pro, and it handled everything absolutely perfectly. Now, it only had a 128 gig SSD, so that was certainly limiting, because with 2, 3 or even 4 projects, basically the SSD was already like completely full, and I always had to delete files, and just it wasn't enough in terms of storage. Of course I could, for example, expand it with SD cards, or maybe even take it apart and put another SSD in, but I didn't really bother with that. And it still worked for me, but even the 8 gigabytes of RAM weren't really enough for video editing. Now for everything else it was perfect, but so those were like two minor issues or gripes that I had with this MacBook, especially after using it for a little bit over a year. And then I started to have a really nasty bug that was basically just a software bug and didn't really have any issues on performance. But almost every time when I woke up the MacBook from sleep or standby, it showed me, I don't know, weird colors on the screen for a few seconds, and then it just continued to the regular login screen. And I never had any crashes on this MacBook or any performance issues, and it handled video editing without any issues. So it wasn't a GPU issue or a storage issue or anything like that, or even a mainboard issue. I assume it's just a software bug, because I've read similar issues from other people in the Apple support forums. But anyways, so I was like, well, I kind of want to sell this MacBook, but then again I felt like I couldn't because of this bug, and even reinstalling the OS didn't help. So earlier this week, I think on Monday, I actually made the decision, whatever, I'm just gonna list it on eBay Kleinanzeigen here in Germany, which is similar to Craigslist in the US. And I just described the error so that the potential buyer knew what he was getting into. And I was selling the MacBook within 4 or 5 hours. Somebody picked it up for a very good price. And I think I paid for this MacBook 1,000 or 1,100 euros back in September 2013. And now I sold it for 725. So that's a pretty good just amount of money when you take into consideration how long I really used it. It was almost 19 months. So I was very happy with the money that I got back. Now, of course, Apple announced the new MacBook a few weeks ago, and it will be launched on the 10th of April, 4 days before my birthday. So yes, I will be getting the new MacBook in space gray, just the standard configuration, because it's good enough with a 250 gigabyte SSD and 8 gigs of RAM. But while I really love the portability of this new MacBook and also don't really have an issue with this one single port, it is certainly enough in terms of performance for my work as an editor and also for many other tasks, but it just isn't enough in terms of performance for editing videos on it. And I unfortunately have to do more video editing on the go. So I was sure, or I knew that I couldn't just get the new MacBook and everything would be fine. So I picked up this beast today. So unfortunately, Apple only refreshed the 13-inch version of this Retina MacBook Pro a few weeks ago and not the 15-inch version. But despite not refreshing it, Apple actually raised the prices here in Germany for around like 250 euros on every machine because of the weak currency here in Europe. So I was basically knowing that I had to purchase the machine now before it gets really expensive. And so I picked up this machine, and the version of the MacBook Pro that I have right here is the 15-inch version, and this is the highest end stock configuration. So it basically has the 2.5 GHz Intel Core i7 processor instead of the standard 2.2 GHz. Of course, this is a quad core. In addition to that, it has 16 GB of DDR3 RAM, which will be very nice for video editing. And it also has a 512 GB SSD, which I'm just really excited about because it's tons of space and just great performance and just speed overall as well. So that should be absolutely amazing. Now in terms of GPU, this machine actually has the integrated Iris Pro, and in addition to that, the Nvidia GT750M. And this also has 2 GB of GDDR5 memory, so in terms of performance it should be really nice, not only for a few little games, but also for video editing, because Final Cut now really uses the power of the GPU as well, and just a significant performance increase over the integrated graphics. So now we are finally getting to the unboxing part itself. I'm very excited. As you can see, it's still in the plastic, so I didn't take a look at it yet, and now it's finally time. And I'm certainly planning on keeping this machine pretty long, so certainly not planning on selling it in like 6 months. I hope that it will last 1, 2, maybe even 3 years. These specs should definitely be good enough to allow this. So we're cutting the plastic, and this is very exciting, especially because I was actually just planning to purchase the standard version of the 15-inch, so the 2.2 GHz Intel Core i7, and with the just integrated Iris Pro graphics and a 250 GB SSD. So this is a much better configuration, and I got a really good deal on this. So I just hope that it works and that there's actually a Retina MacBook Pro in this box and not just, I don't know, a stone or something, or a phone book. So we lift it, and yes, there is fortunately a MacBook in there. And I'm already panicking a little bit because it seems like there are scratches here, but I hope this is just the plastic, and it seems to just be the plastic. This would suck if this is scratched right out of the box. I have to see, I'm not quite sure. No, it should be just on the plastic, fortunately. So here we have it, and it's always funny. I mean, you think that 15-inch isn't really much bigger than 13-inch, but it's a huge difference. So now we have all the accessories in the box here, of course, and we'll quickly take a look at what comes in terms of stickers. So we have a hello guide, of course, MacBook Pro, the stickers in white, not in black like on the Mac Pro, and a cleaning cloth. Put this to the side. The MagSafe. So yes, we still have MagSafe here, not USB Type-C. And then we here have the extension cord, of course with the German plug depending on the country that you live in. But let's put this all to the side and take a look at the MacBook once again. And I'm just excited that there isn't a stone in there and that it doesn't seem to have scratches out of the box. That would suck really bad. So very nice machine, and the price that I paid makes it even better. So here we actually see it's still perfectly sealed, and let's open this up. And this sound is music in the ears of every Mac or Apple enthusiast. Oh man, I almost thought there was like a dent in there. And there might actually be, I'm not quite sure. This is ugly. It seems like there are two dents. One is right here and the other one is right here. Not sure if you can see this on camera. This sucks. Well, I wasn't expecting this. This is bad. Now let's flip it over. See if it doesn't have any scratches on the top or dents. The top at least looks fine. But man, that sucks that it has already like 2 dents in the bottom. Or at the bottom, I should rather say. Anyways, let's actually continue looking around the machine. On the right side, yes, we still have a few ports right here on this MacBook. So we have USB 3.0, HDMI out, and an SD card reader. And then on the other side, we have the MagSafe adapter, 2x Thunderbolt, USB 3, and a headphone jack. And then let's actually open this up. So here we have the machine opened, and certainly is again much bigger than you would expect. Let's peel this off. And now let's see if it actually has any juice to turn on, which would be nice. And yes, it does turn on. So at least that's good, but I have to say these dents at the bottom of the machine do kind of piss me off, even though it's not really like the worst, but still, man, that still sucks. So the display looks very nice so far, and here's also the maximum brightness. Now I'll just continue to start setting this up, and I'll just get back to you guys very soon. So here we have my new powerhouse of a MacBook Pro all powered up. And yes, I still have those 2 dents on the bottom plate of this machine, which is very unfortunate, especially because I always try to keep my machines in just perfect or pristine condition. But I guess I saved so much money on this machine that I'll be able to live with this, and I'll still make an appointment at the Apple Store to see if they might just exchange the bottom plate of this machine, because as it is here now on camera and on tape, so to say, this was already a damage that was basically done to the machine in the box. I assume maybe the accessories had to do with that damage. Not really too bad if they don't fix it, oh well. Again, I saved so much money that it doesn't really matter too much, especially because they're very small and just on the bottom of the machine. If it would be on the top, it would be a different story. But anyways, this was my unboxing of this Retina MacBook Pro with Intel Core i7 2.5 GHz, the GT750M, a 500 GB SSD, as well as 16 gigs of DDR3 memory. Thank you very much for watching and bearing with my story if you did. I just felt like sharing this, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. So I'm looking forward to what you have to say in the comment section down below, and I'll hope to get a good discussion started down there. So again, thanks for watching, and I really hope to see you next time.